Welcome back to Singapore Tonight. More now on the debate on the President's address, as MPs suggest targeted moves for the next phase of nation building. An exchange on public housing prices also happened in the House. It started when PAP MP Saktiandi Supaat said that Workers' Party MP Louis Chua had in fact agreed that HDB housing was affordable in a recent report he had co-authored. Others seemed at odds with what the Workers' Party had been saying in Parliament.
Page 13 of his report, he and his co-authors went on to say this. Contrary to the private property market, he finds a more favourable and resilient situation in the public housing market, i.e. HDB. This is largely attributed to the rise in the average income in relation to the price of a flat. He consistently estimated an MSR that stayed comfortably below 30%, bestowing upon households the freedom to still take up other loans. Therefore, he is inclined to believe that HDB markets should continue to remain resilient, supported by healthy household balance sheets. And then on the regional front, on page 26 of his report, he then assessed Singapore and our ASEAN region and said this, in quote, "From a regional perspective, he notes that the affordability continues to be healthy in Singapore, where residential price increases have lagged behind that of household income growth over the last decade. Whereas the converse is true for neighbouring ASEAN countries."
The report that he was referring to was produced for institutional investors in a commercial context for their investment decisions. And I think if you look at the key conclusions that have been put forth in the report and what I have shared as recent as earlier this afternoon, in that the key constraint that I was speaking about is really the fundamental demand-supply imbalance issue. I spoke about how demand has been resilient, BTO subscription rates, private property take-up rates have been very high.
I duly recognise the report is meant for institutional clients, as he mentioned, but the professional assessment and conclusion in the report is very explicit. Public housing in Singapore today remains affordable. I think I've highlighted the quotes just now. Indeed, it is affordable because of the government policy. So I'm glad that Mr. Chua agrees with us on this matter. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Louis Chua.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker, and thanks to a member for his clarification. And I just again want to reiterate that if he looks at the report, the key conclusion there really is that the key issue which I highlighted consistently across is that it is really a matter of demand supply, and what may be favourable from an investment perspective may not exactly be favourable from a national interest perspective.